The monkey's paw. Sergeant Major Morris introduces a mummified monkey paw to Mr. and Mrs. White. He tells them that he found it while serving in India. The paw has the ability to grant 3 wishes, but they always come with terrible consequences. Mr. White ignores Morris's warnings and asks the paw a wish for £200. Next day he receives the news that his son Herbert died in an accident at his workplace. The employer sends £200 as compensation for the family of the accident victim. Mrs. White is anguished and wants her son back. After nearly 10 days of the funeral, the couple decides to ask for another wish. They rub the monkey's paw and ask for his son to come back. They hear a knock on the door. The knock turns into banging and Mrs. White fumbles to open the door. Terrified with the idea of seeing a mutilated and decomposed body of their son outside his house, Mr. White makes the third and final wish. The door knocks stop, and when Mrs. White opens the door, she is shattered in pain and disappointment as there is nobody there. The vampire, Aubrey, an English gentleman, meets a mysterious man named Lord Ruthven. Aubrey goes to Rome with Ruthven, but when he finds Ruthven doing wrongful acts with the daughter of a mutual acquaintance, he leaves him. Aubrey is attracted to Lanthe, a pretty woman he meets in Greece. Lanthe shares stories about the legends of the blood-curdling vampires. Ruthven hears them talking, and a couple of days later, Lanthe is found dead. Apparently, she is killed by a vampire. Aubrey continues traveling with Ruthven. On their journey, they are attacked by bandits and Ruthven is gravely wounded. Ruthven takes a promise from Aubrey before dying, that he will not mention about this death to anyone for 1 year and a day. One day, Aubrey suddenly realizes that everyone who met Ruthven suffered horribly. He is in London now and is shocked to see Ruthven alive and healthy. Ruthven starts seeing Aubrey's sister and proposes her for marriage. Aubrey wants to warn his sister about Ruthven, but Ruthven reminds him of the oath. Aubrey is bound by the oath and has a nervous breakdown. Still, he writes a letter to his sister, but she gets married to Ruthven before the letter arrives. On the night of the wedding, Aubrey's sister is discovered dead, fully drained of her blood. Ruthven has fled. The monkey. 2 young brothers Peter and Dennis find a clapping monkey toy in the basement of their great-uncle's home. In the past, their father, Hal, had originally found the monkey in his father's cupboard when he was a child. Hal's father disappeared under strange circumstances, and a weird connection between the monkey and the missing father is established. It is revealed that the monkey is cursed, and whenever it claps, someone from Hal's family dies. As a child, Hal saw his relatives dying one after the other whenever the monkey clapped. Oppressed by the monkey's devilish enchantment, Hal threw the clapping monkey into a deep well, which now resurfaces with his children. When Peter and Dennis find the monkey again, Hal shoves it deep down inside a lake. He hopes the problem is solved forever. A couple of days later, a news headline mentions about the mysterious death of all the fishes in the lake. The Graveyard Challenge. A group of teenage girls spends a sleepover at the house of one of the girls whose parents were out for the night. The girls start talking about a ghost in the nearby cemetery. One of them says that a man was recently buried alive and that people can hear him trying to break out of the coffin at night. Another girl expresses disbelief at the urbane legend and rubbishes it as a fake story. They challenge her to prove her point, so she dares to go to the cemetery and promises to return after driving a stake into the soil above the dead man's coffin. She leaves immediately while her friends wait for her return. When she doesn't return until morning, they visit the cemetery to find her. In the cemetery, they see her lying dead next to a grave with a stake driven into her heart. Examining the stake, they notice, "Challenge accepted," written on it.
If you like this video, subscribe our channel.